Hi everyone, welcome to another webisode of The Good Doctor. Today I'm here with Dr. Mike Ryan. He's a UK board certified trichologist and the only one now working in the Middle East. Welcome to the program, Dr. Mike.
Welcome, nice to meet you.
So, for all of our audience that doesn't know what a trichologist is, what do you do?
Trichologist is a speciality of dermatology, and we deal primarily with the hair and scalp disorders and diseases, which includes skin diseases and, of course, hair problems and hair loss.
What are the factors that are involved in hair diseases? And then we'll get to the hair loss part.
Well, the hair follicle itself is a very complicated and sensitive mini organ, in fact. It has its own sort of environment. And it responds uniquely to changes in lifestyle, changes in diet, changes in atmosphere. So it's very sensitive to changes in your life, and really we're not too sure why. So some disorders are genetic, some diseases are genetic, but most of things are just changes. You know, you come to the Middle East, you come to Dubai, change of food, change of water. So there's many facets to it, but there's no one single cause of hair loss. So
food, water, the environment, stress,
lifestyle for sure, drinking, smoking, absolutely everything there. As I said, the follicle is very, very sensitive to change. Now, not for everybody. Yeah. Some people just go through life and nothing happens. But some people, there is a trigger point and the hair responds.
Right. By the way, I didn't ask this, does genetics play a role?
Genetic plays a role in genetic or androgenetic alopecia. Sure, that is what we commonly class as male pattern balding or female pattern balding, where the hair loss follows a particular pattern, and that is hereditary genetic.
And predominantly, can we relate that to a mother's side or the father's side, or is it a combination of both?
It's both, and the misconception is that my father was bald, so I will be bald, and that's not true.
So let's come back to the conversation. Someone has lost their hair, or their hair is starting to thin and go away or wither away. Is that the right term, that it's just slowly dies?
Well, it doesn't die, it thins, and there's two different things there. If they've lost their hair, if the hair has gone, then, and if we're talking about a male predominantly, that more than likely would be a genetic thinning. So the hair actually miniaturizes over time. You don't lose your hair. The hair still goes through its cycle. The hair still grows, but it grows through a shorter cycle. And the next time the hair is produced, it's slightly thinner, and then thinner and thinner, and so on. So when we look under the dermoscope in the clinic, we still see hairs in these bald regions, but the hair is of no quality. It's thin, almost like what we call vellus hair, which is the hair on your body.
Right.
If people are losing their hair and there is shedding, that is a completely different scenario.
What's the difference for those who don't know the difference?
Well, we all shed around 40 to 50 hairs per day.
Right.
And you normally see this when you shampoo, on the pillow. Sometimes it leaves a trail behind you in the house, some people tell me.
Sure.
If you're losing your hair at a rate that is excessive to your normal rate, and you know your hair better than anybody else.
Sure.
So somebody can say to you, oh, well, you don't look as though you're losing your hair looks great.
Right.
But you know your hair, you've lived with it for many years.
Right.
So if you're shedding more hairs than you normally would, then there is a problem. Often hair loss is the precursor to a medical condition. So it flags up in diabetes prior to the diabetes flagging up.
I see.
It flags up thyroid long before a doctor will diagnose thyroid problems. So that's why the correct diagnosis is important.
What is the process? What's involved?
Okay, so we do quite a complex consultation, and this is where the trichologist part is fairly important, because a general doctor will have probably 8 minutes to see you, and they turn over a lot of patients. And because hair is unimportant to life, as in if you lose your hair you don't die, most doctors, and I'll clarify, most doctors are not really interested. It's a case of you've got genetic alopecia, go away and live with it. Whereas we spend considerably more time in the consultation, where we talk about lifestyle, where we talk about diet, where we talk about stress factors. We do dermoscope analysis. We actually look at the scalp and the hair follicles to see what condition they're in. We do pull tests, and we take a full medical history at that point.
What are some of the medications out there that's available that you can prescribe, or
well,
is it prescription based, or can they just go and get it over the counter?
They can buy over the counter. Some are prescriptive based. The danger of when you just buy over the counter is what works for you if your hair was shedding won't necessarily work for Bob.
Right.
So you need to be correctly diagnosed. So we give treatments particularly for men, which are DHT blockers, which are things like Revivagen. We use laser therapy quite extensively because that works. We use scalp stimulants. With females, we get blood tests, and we will look at nutritional benefits. We have a product called Trichomax, which is again is a DHT blocker, but has a fantastic result in slowing down hair fall fairly quickly in females, which from a psychological aspect is superb.
And what are the results that people can expect if they undertake these kind of treatments?
With males, if it is genetic hair loss, androgenetic alopecia, we tend to see 3 different results. The first result is nothing happens. So the DHT blockers have slowed down the process, or in some cases slightly reversed it. So the hair doesn't change, it doesn't grow back, you don't look like Elvis Presley, your hair stays the same. So nothing's got worse, nothing's got better. But in fact, it has got better because it's not got worse.
Right.
If you understand what I mean.
You just maintain the status quo of what you have.
Which is a great result.
Right.
In some cases, we see an improvement. Now, it's a small improvement, 10 or 20%, which is pretty critical to hair. So it's an improvement. But in some cases, we see absolutely nothing. The hair just continues to go.
Right.
And then we're looking at hair restoration processes or transplant processes. For females, then we're looking at most female hair loss we see in Vivandi is temporary hair loss, most of it. Very few females is genetic, and we can help with that process. The problem is the hair cycle is fairly slow, and it takes 3 to 6 months before we see any tangible results. Quite often a patient will feel the result before we see it, so they know their hair, they will feel better. 6 months down the line, they're starting to see positive results. Happy days.
Well, thank you very much for answering some of these questions. For everyone out there who's got hair loss issues, they've got concerns, they've got family members that want solutions, Dr. Mike Ryan will be happy to answer your questions. Leave us your comments on our Facebook, on our Twitter, and of course on our website. Thank you for watching The Good Doctor on eZeLiving.com, where you can find anything and everything lifestyle.